I was asked this question the other day, and it's about leadership. And with leadership being my favorite trait, skill, characteristic, whatever you call it, it made me think. And the question was, how do you lead someone that you're close to without being too much? And in the context, it was, he said, I feel like I'm giving them a disservice if I'm not telling them what they could do to be the best version of themselves. Basically, he sees his friend living his life not the best way. So he wants to step in and say, hey, this is how you should live your life, or this is my recommendation. Maybe not in those exact words, but that's the gist of it. He wanted to tell him how to do it. Otherwise, he feels like he's giving him a disservice. And my first thought was, leading other people comes down to living the example, being the example. So when you have, there's different situations to lead. And the first thing that comes to mind is leadership on a team, and then leadership to people in everyday life. So when I talk about a team, I'm talking about sports teams, or maybe it could even be a work team. But if you're on a team, you generally have the same common goal. You want to win. That is the goal, is to win at all costs. And if other people are not contributing, or they're not putting in the work to reach the goal, it's your job as a leader to raise them up. And it starts with leading by example. But on a team, there's an unwritten rule of sometimes you pick people up verbally. Sometimes you say, hey, get on my level, it's time to start playing. Or sometimes you have to have that honest conversation and say, man, you're flat, you're not performing. What do we need to do to get you on this level? You look at all the great leaders in sports, and they have this in any discipline that they're in, any sport that they're in. There's the leader of the team, and everyone plays up to their level. It's not a everybody's on their own level type of thing. It's you play at a champion's level or you don't play at all. Now, when it comes to leading people in everyday life, it's not the same. And the reason it's not the same is because not everyone has a shared common goal. So when you start to implement your opinion on how someone should live their life or how they should be doing things, it's generally not going to be received, because most likely they do not have the same view or ideology on life as you do. They're not trying to do the same things. So it's not always an effective tactic to tell someone how to do something or how to live their life. So it goes back to the question of, I want to lead this person to live a better life, to be the best version of themselves, but I feel like I'm giving them a disservice or doing them a disservice if I do not say anything when I see them constantly screwing up. And the thing that I asked him was, why do you think that you know better? Why do you think that you know how to make the decision for him on how to live his life? Why do you think that you have the expertise in his life, his decisions, his experiences, his circumstances? It comes down to an ego thing. Is it your ego talking that makes you feel that I know best and what I do is right? Or did you take a second to step back and wonder, maybe this guy is going through something? My initial thought on strictly why you would feel like you're giving someone a disservice by not telling them what to do or telling them how to live their life, it comes strictly down to ego. Now, leadership is pretty odd in the sense that it's a skill or trait that you almost just naturally do it. Now, you can learn to be better, and you can develop skills and traits to be better at this particular trait, skill, characteristic, whatever you call it. But it's almost one of those things that to be a better leader, you simply do less. So you lead by example. You don't have to tell people what to do. You're not a manager. You're not a boss. The goal of leading is to inspire people to want to follow the path, not to tell people, but to simply guide people. And some of the best leaders are the ones that say the least. It's the people that put in the hours behind the scenes that nobody sees, of doing the things that most people won't do. It's not the people that call their shots and say, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. They just do. So to finish up this video, I just wanted to start a discussion. How do you view leadership? Do you see it similarly to me, where it's the majority of leading by example, and there are some intangibles like charisma, how you speak, how you hold yourself, how you present yourself in public? These characteristics add to the things that you do behind the scenes that nobody sees, just putting in the constant work. Or are you more on the side of the fence that is telling people what to do, or guiding them more verbally instead of leading by example, or doing things that are maybe unorthodox? I'm always interested to hear different views, different opinions on specifically leadership, but really anything, because it helps me learn. It helps us have good conversation, and bringing new views it just helps us grow together. So if you guys have any thoughts on leadership, and in particular this topic in general, drop it in the comments. I definitely want to hear about it. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.